Welcome back to the channel. My name is Amber if you're new here, and today we're just going to be talking about our November reads, just doing a little wrap up. I think I read like 9 books this month. I don't even know. There's a doggo back there. Say hi to Navy. The lighting is awful and everywhere, so I just decided we're going to do it here and we're going to do it with the tree. We're just doing a wrap up. We're just here for a good time. I don't really care what it looks like. Where did I start with? Oh, so at the beginning of the month, I continued the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy with Ballad of Never After and Curse for True Love. A Ballad of Never After, this one was definitely better than the first. This was a 5-star for sure. I loved the tension throughout the book. I thought that the plot went really well. I loved the twist at the end, and the cliffhanger though, I don't know how anyone read this when it came out and then waited for Curse for True Love for like a year. I can't wrap my head around it. This was a 5-star series though, for sure. And then I don't want to give any spoilers or anything, but Jackson, the tension, the romantic tension, and this entire series is just so fairy tale like. And I will say that was the main thing that I loved about Curse for True Love. I gave it a 4.75. But it did still feel so fairy tale like, and especially the ending, it just ended the way you expect, I guess. I don't know. I do feel like I've heard rumors about how this book was originally plotted out, and the editor was like, no. And I wish that she would have just done it, because I think it would have been better. So I feel like the beginning would have been a little bit different, or just the way we went about things would have been a little bit different. I've also heard a lot of people say they feel like things weren't wrapped up completely in this book, but I do think that there's more. I think we're gonna get more, so I think it's not wrapped up for a reason, because Caraval was in this universe and then these came along, and it's following a timeline so far. Also, the size difference is really upsetting, but it's okay. It's fine. They're pretty, and that's all that matters. Anyway, so then after I read that, it was time for Iron Flame, of course. What everyone has read this month. So first, I did my reread of Fourth Wing. If you're interested, I did a spoiler reading vlog for both combined. It's up on my channel already, so if you want to read that, go ahead. I'm just warning you, it's a really long video, but yeah. So if you want in-depth, you want spoilers, go watch that. If you haven't read this, don't go watch that. So first, reread of Fourth Wing, still 5 stars. I read this when it came out in May, and I ate it up so fast. I enjoyed it so much. Then we got into Iron Flame. I gave this a 4-star. And I just, I really go into it in my video, but I just, it was too long. It was just utterly too long. I have no idea why this book had to be so many, words, and, thank the Lord that I read this on my Kindle. Even reading it on my Kindle was, pulling teeth. I just felt like I was pulling teeth, and then I would read something and I would be so lost. I would be like, where even are we? What are we doing? To me, it felt like the timeline wasn't smooth sailing. I just felt like I was being thrown around in all these different directions, and I didn't understand what was happening. So I don't know, that kind of really made me irritated. And then there was some miscommunication in here that could have been resolved way before it was. So that was very confusing. And apparently this was originally 2 books. And then they were like, that's got to be 1 book, because 2 of them separate were too short. And it honestly feels like they just fucking threw them together and didn't do anything about it. And I'm glad they put them together in a way, because I think the first book would have had no plot. Nothing would have really happened. But I also don't like them just thrown together either. I feel like it's so messy. I ended the book being I really couldn't tell you what just happened. I can tell you how it started and kind of how it ended, and a couple scenes between, and I can't tell you anything else. And that's pretty crazy for that big of a book. And I read a lot of fantasy. I don't, sometimes it's just hard to read, whatever. But anyways, that put me in a reading slump, of course. So then I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to pick up Manacled, because I wanted to read a Dramini fanfic, and I've wanted to read one for a while, and I've been putting it off, and I was like, well, there's no better time. I feel like a fanfic, like maybe Wattpaddy story would be like great for right now, because Iron Flame just wasn't it. So I picked that up. It was not Wattpaddy at all. It was such beautiful and complex writing, and just the way everything was so thought out, and the way you were taken on this journey was crazy. And I had my friend ask me, she was like, was it weird because it was about Harry Potter in a way, but like it's not Harry Potter? I was like, no. I feel like it gave me that almost nostalgia, like feeling that I love about the world, but I also like didn't have a problem with like separating that, what was real and what was fake. So I don't know, but I really enjoyed it. Just check your trigger warnings. It's so dark. And of course, that put me in a reading slump further, because it was just emotionally draining. Like I feel like it got me out of my slump, as in I was like, okay, I actually really was invested in the story, but I was like, whew, that was a lot. Side note, I also finished Catching Fire, the audiobook. I think I finished that like earlier in the month, but I just kind of forgot about it until now. So I did finish that. I was trying to reread them before Songbirds and Snakes. I gave that a 5 stars. And then after Manacled, I started Songbirds and Snakes, because I am on the Mockingjay audiobook as well. Haven't finished that, and I haven't finished Songbirds and Snakes either. First, I started it on my Kindle, and then, because I already had it from my grandma, and I was like, okay, like, we'll just read it. And I think I've heard someone say, because it's written in third person, you don't really feel like you're in Koryo's head, maybe? I don't really know. So it wasn't helping my reading slump. So then I was like, oh, you can get it on audiobook. So I got the audiobook because I was trying to hurry up and read it before I watched the movie. Still on it. Still on Mockingjay's audiobook as well. But we're going to get there. It's fine. But both are going to be five stars for sure. I think the audiobook is way better. The audiobook is way better if you want to read Songbirds and Snakes. It just sucks you in a little bit more. Reading it, you just feel a little detached from everything, and yeah. Anyway, all that to say, I was like, wow, I am in such a reading slump right now, because I was like trying so hard to read Songbirds and Snakes, and I couldn't. Like, I would just sit there and stare at it, and I was like, what is even going on? And it got to the point where I didn't even care what was happening, but I really didn't know what was happening either. Okay. So then I picked up Defy the Night, which is a trilogy, but only these 2 are out so far. But I saw Abby on Book Talk. I think her name is just Abby. But I saw her talk about this, and she was like, I was so surprised by how much I liked this. It's just a YA fantasy, but it has like a good amount of drama. You're like very attached. And I will say the plot twist in this, chef's kiss. It was so good. But like, I kind of saw it coming. Like, I kind of could tell what was going to happen in the first book, but then, and it's like pretty early on, but I was like, I am kicking my feet and I love it so much. And yeah, so yeah, there are like parts about it that I don't adore, but I also am making a vlog on getting out of my reading slump, and this is what's in there. And let me tell you, this one got me out of it. This was for sure 5 stars, just because I enjoyed myself. Like, it wasn't the best thing I've ever read in my entire life, but I so enjoyed myself. I loved the plot twist. I just loved the whole aspect of it. In this book, we follow Tessa, and we live in a world where everyone's dying of the fever, and she's an apothecary, and Moonflower is the only cure to this, and the kingdom has like people that grow it and they sell it, and of course the poor can't afford it. So what Tessa does is she teams up with her partner, and they steal Moonflower and give it to the poor, like Robin Hood. It's pretty cool. And then yeah, it goes from there. And then the second book I gave a 4 stars because I felt like not as much happened in this one. I was still enjoying like continuing the story though, but I was like frustrated at some points with like just that nothing was happening. I felt like there could have been more fit into this. I think it was just one of those where it's like, this is the in-between to the first and the third, you know? And that's fine. I still enjoyed it, so that's all that matters. But yeah, those are the books that I read for November. I honestly feel like it was a great reading month, and I'm almost done with Mockingjay and Songbirds and Snakes. I know they're gonna be 5 stars, but I didn't like officially put them on my November list because I'm not done with them. So we will continue doing that. But I hope you guys had a good November reading month, and I hope you have a great December. Yeah. I'll see you guys next time.